Oh, hello there. We're starting this video off the same way I usually start my weeks, with a mini meal prep. Whenever I take the time to prepare a few components like dressings, sauces, proteins, or crunchy toppers, I find it so much easier to get delicious home-cooked meals on the table during the week. Now, this is normally a Sunday activity, but this Friday I was able to fold it into some recipe testing that was already on my to-do list. First, I roasted red pepper hummus. I've made this recipe with canned chickpeas before, but today I wanted to test it with dried chickpeas to see if it makes a big enough difference. Aside from the roasted peppers, this recipe is pretty similar to my classic hummus recipe that so many of you love. There's lots of garlic, lots of lemon juice, and some cumin. And to complement the flavors of the peppers, smoked paprika for more smokiness, and Aleppo pepper, which adds a mild fruity heat. To check if the chickpeas are done cooking, grab one from the pot and press down on it. If it gives in like my willpower around chocolate chip cookies, they are ready. Once you have this nice chickpea paste, it's time for the flavorings. Chopped garlic, lemon juice, and tahini. We're using quite a bit of tahini here, a heaping half cup, so the quality really matters. I like to break up the bell peppers a bit with my hands, just so they incorporate more easily. In addition to the spices, we need just a touch of extra virgin olive oil for that mouthfeel that only olive oil can bring, and one of my favorite ever ingredients, pomegranate molasses, which adds this unique, sweet, sour, tangy note. Blend everything until it's as smooth as possible, and as with any hummus recipe, the key really is to taste and tinker with salt, lemon juice, and spices until it tastes perfect to you. Okay, so the hummus made with the canned chickpeas is very good. If someone were to make this for me or I was at a restaurant, I would be very happy. It is definitely better than anything you can buy at the store. That said, the version with the dried chickpeas is fantastic. I can taste the difference. It is just a better quality hummus. So if you have some extra time to cook your chickpeas from scratch, that would be my vote. The hummus will stay good for 5 to 7 days in the fridge, and it makes a big batch. So there are lots of fun ways I can use it throughout the week, including in tonight's dinner. For the second half of my mini meal prep, I got to work on a simple lemon vinaigrette. Having a salad dressing ready in the fridge makes it precisely 183 times more likely that I will actually eat greens in the week, and it only takes a few minutes to make. So this one is a 1/4 cup of lemon juice plus a tablespoon of the zest. 1 fat garlic clove gets grated right in there, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard to help emulsify, and 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. Salt and pepper, and then a heaping 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Always taste your dressing first. Mine was a little too tart, so I added a touch more of maple syrup. Delicious. After showering and scrubbing off a day's worth of recipe testing, I returned to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Since it was Friday, I wanted something fun, but still easy since I had already been in the kitchen all day, like a meze platter. It's basically a collection of small dishes originating in the Middle East and Mediterranean, and you can serve individual meze as appetizers, but in summer, I like to have a collection of meze as my entire dinner. It's like girl dinner, but for adults. I tossed some cannellini beans with some of the same ingredients I used earlier, a bit of lemon zest and lemon juice reserved from the lemon vinaigrette, a teaspoon or 2 of pomegranate molasses, garlic, and a touch of extra virgin olive oil. I let the beans quickly marinate while I made a quick salad using some tomatoes and extremely adorable cucumbers I got on my last trip at the farmer's market. I chiffonaded some basil, which I buy pretty much every week in summer, then mixed up a roughly equal amount of the cukes and tomatoes with some of the lemon vinaigrette from earlier and a few hunks of vegan feta for creaminess. To round out the meze platter, I served up the freshly made red pepper hummus with some fluffy whole wheat pita. And this is the beauty of mini meal prep. In 10 or 15 minutes, I've got a pretty perfect summer meal, and I've got plenty of leftover hummus and vinaigrette for more easy meals later this week. After an early workout the following morning, I made what I call my Berry Good smoothie, or what Max calls Big Perp, as in the color Purple, not Perpetrator. It's got soy milk, frozen blueberries and raspberries, fresh ginger for a little zing, a tablespoon of flaxseed meal, and 2 tablespoons of almond butter. To bulk it up, I added a scoop of chocolate protein powder. And before you tell me how much protein I need or don't need, just know that since I started adding protein powder to my smoothies, my bench press has increased to 350 pounds and I could smush you into a ball. Some cinnamon and a pinch of turmeric, and just a touch of black pepper since it helps the body absorb all the anti-inflammatory compounds in turmeric. I promise you cannot taste it. After enjoying my smoothie and finishing this fantastic novel that y'all should definitely read, I showered, changed, and started prepping to go to my parents' house because we're surprising my mom for an early Mother's Day brunch with some banana pancakes. Gotta bring my own maple syrup because I think that my parents only have like generic pancake syrup. And one more thing. To cook the pancakes, I'm gonna bring over my carbon steel griddle from Made In so I can cook multiple pancakes at once. Before I drive over, I do wanna thank Made In for sponsoring today's video. This griddle is super cool. It's made from carbon steel, which has a lot of the same benefits as cast iron, but it's really light. The griddle comes pre-seasoned out of the box, and the more I cook with it, the more nonstick it becomes, which is really nice to have a nonstick surface without any of the harmful chemicals and coatings that a lot of nonstick pans have. It sits across 2 burners, which means I can cook multiple pancakes at once. And as the weather has been getting warmer, I've even used this on my outdoor grill, which is really fun. I've been cooking with Made In pans for a couple years and I love their pans. They make such professional quality cookware for the home cook. They're even used in some of the best restaurants in the country. I'm talking 3-star Michelin restaurants. And they're able to do that by partnering with artisans and multi-generational factories. So you're not gonna get some pan that was just cobbled together in a few minutes and it's gonna break down in a couple months. So be sure to check out this beautiful carbon steel griddle and Made In's other cookware by using the link in the description box below to save on your order. Okay, off to my parents. Forgot about that. My mom has a huge sweet tooth, so I am guessing she will love the pancakes. The question is, how much maple syrup will she want? Once we arrived, I started by cutting up some fresh fruit. As much as I love these banana pancakes, they can't be the only thing I eat at a meal, or I will be ready for a nap immediately afterwards. Plus, cutting up fresh fruit is the official love language of all Indian families.
Oh my God, I've never eaten raspberry so sweet.
So good, right? We also got to enjoy the first of the season's cherries from the farmer's market and some pineapple, not from the farmer's market, but still really, really good. And for something a little more satiating, I scooped out an entire container of this vegan skyr-style yogurt. Once that was ready, I got to work on the pancakes and I made my mom sit upstairs so she wouldn't know what I was making. I started with the vegan buttermilk substitute, which is just a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar mixed with 1.5 cups of soy milk. The soy milk plus the acidity is really what gives these pancakes a beautiful fluffiness. Then I got to work on the dry ingredients, which are pretty standard: flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, and a little cardamom because my family loves cardamom, and brown sugar. And by the way, I've created a free PDF guide with all of the recipes in this video. It's linked in the description box below, so check that out after you finish watching the video. Moving on to the wet ingredients, starting with the bananas. You want the super ripe bananas with lots of spots. Those are the sweetest, and they work really well in banana bread, as you might know, as well as banana pancakes. All right, that is it. After mashing the bananas, I added the other wet ingredients: a teaspoon of vanilla extract, the vegan buttermilk, which you can see has curdled a lot thanks to the high protein content in the soy milk, and finally some melted vegan butter. Whisk it together and try to avoid spilling. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry and mix with a wooden spoon. Pretty simple stuff, just be gentle to avoid over mixing as that can toughen the gluten in the batter. To get cooking, I laid the carbon steel griddle over 2 burners and preheated it over medium-low for several minutes. Since I've been cooking with the griddle for a bit now, the surface is quite non-stick, so it needs just a light coating of oil. Being able to cook 3 pancakes at once is so much nicer than having to cook them one at a time, especially when you're making brunch for more than 2 people. And the pancakes, as you can see, are getting a nice even color on both sides. I don't know if it's coming through because it's a little dark in the kitchen, but these pancakes look perfect. Seriously, it's pretty much impossible to get better looking pancakes than that.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, bacha.
I'm gonna give you some fruit.
Syrup Marsan,
I
syrup.
is not going to eat that
Oh,
much.
no syrup for you.
Oh, it's Mother's Day. No, that's my main thing for pancakes.
Wait.
No. I brought real maple syrup. As predicted, my parents have a 5-year-old bottle of Aunt Jemima pancake syrup.
That much syrup for 4 people, I will need that much just for myself.
Oh, look at that. Oh my God.
Can I start eating? The taste of this syrup is so different.
But now you know what real maple syrup tastes like?
This is excellent.
Altogether, a very lovely early Mother's Day celebration with my parents. That afternoon, we decided to treat ourselves to a luxurious sunny afternoon at our local wine bar, because life is short, and also it's Saturday. We were in the mood for something light and bright after brunch, so we ordered the pickled veggie plate and marinated Castelvetrano olives, which are the only olives I've ever seen Max not physically gag at the sight of. We also got the house salad and house-made sourdough, which I dipped in olive oil and sea salt, best combination ever. And of course, some wine because we're at a wine bar. A slightly effervescent, non-alcoholic white wine for me, thank you. Truly the perfect way to pretend like you're on vacation in the south of France, even if you were thousands of miles away. I have had a delicious day of food so far, but I feel like I need something a little more balanced for tonight's dinner. So I'm gonna take some of that hummus from yesterday and make a hummus plate with some lentils on top, maybe some farmer's market veggies, but it's gonna be fun and exciting. I started by bringing some water to a boil on the stove and then measuring out 2/3 of a cup or 130 grams of brown lentils, an excellent source of both fiber and protein, plus essential vitamins and minerals like iron and potassium. While those simmered on the stove, I grabbed 2 of these large, thin pitas and chopped them up into little pieces to make homemade pita chips. If you've never tried making homemade pita chips before, it's actually very easy. All you need is pita, olive oil to coat, salt and pepper to season, and a sheet pan. Pop them in a 350 oven for 5 minutes, toss, and then bake for another 5 to 8 minutes until they're crisp and crunchy, but not too crunchy. While that was happening, I chopped up some of this seriously gorgeous lettuce from the farmer's market, washed and dried it in my salad spinner because no one likes chomping down on sand. The lentils were ready by then, so I toweled them off because I don't want them to have any excess moisture. And to finish the lentils, I heated up 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil over medium-low heat, followed by 2 heaping teaspoons of this shawarma spice blend. Basically, I'm just blooming the spices in the oil to bring out their flavors. After 30 seconds, I dumped in the cooked lentils and tossed them in this delicious, fragrant spiced oil for about 4 minutes or until they just started to crisp up. This takes an extra 5, maybe 7 minutes of work, but it really makes simple cooked lentils taste so much more exciting. I didn't want to wash another bowl, so I just tossed the salad directly in the enormous salad spinner bowl, salt and pepper plus the lemon vinaigrette from Meal Prep, and a few cherry tomatoes. Super simple, but lovely thanks to the homemade dressing. I plated the shawarma seasoned lentils on the roasted red pepper hummus from yesterday, and this is another example of the power of mini meal prep. Even though I'm reusing some of the components from yesterday's dinner, everything still feels very fresh and exciting. This is so freaking good. It's got the perfect blend of textures and this really nice, smoky, spicy flavor, but it's still bright and fresh. It is so good that I cannot wait to eat all of it, except that I have to share it with Max to be nice. We're gonna dig in, but I will see you tomorrow morning when it is time for breakfast. The following morning, we went to my happy place, or as you might know it, the farmer's market. So we need berries, cucumbers, tomatoes, and whatever else looks good. It's so nice to chat with the farmers week after week and to support local businesses. The produce is grown nearby, so it tastes so much better than anything you can get at the supermarket.
Look how cute and small. I'm just a baby.
Good morning, thank you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you? Another part of my weekly farmer's market ritual is when I get home, I start washing my produce, at least the stuff that isn't too delicate. Whenever possible, I try to front load this work because it makes it so much more likely that I'll actually use all the stuff I bought during the week. It also makes me feel like a high-functioning adult who has their life together. For breakfast, I sliced up some of the very delicious strawberries I grabbed from the market and served them over a bed of vegan yogurt alongside some blueberries. I also broke up some toasted walnuts for crunch and healthy fats. I've got a video on how to make those, so I'll link it here. And for more healthy fats and fiber, I sprinkled some chia seeds on top. I get a lot of questions about how to become a better cook or how to make your food taste better. And honestly, the biggest cheat code is to shop at your farmer's market, especially in summer. The produce is just so good that it's gonna make whatever you're eating, even something simple like this, taste 10 times better. I am so happy about this really simple breakfast bowl because these berries are incredible. Cheers. Even Max, who pretends he doesn't like fruit, could not resist the farmer's market berries. I enjoyed the rest of the bowl while reading another novel from my favorite contemporary author, Jesmyn Ward, and you would be right to assume that when I am not working, I am reading novels, so drop your recommendations in the comments. For lunch today, I wanted to try a new recipe since I have a little more time on the weekends, and I decided to go with congee, which is a Chinese rice porridge. And this version that I'm making today is from my friend Will Young's cookbook. I'm sure you're familiar with his channel. If you're not, I'll link it in the description box below, as well as his book. And I am very excited. I haven't had congee in years, so I'm sure it's gonna be delicious. Even though I love being a recipe developer, I have to say it is really nice to just follow someone else's recipe for once and not have to pause every few minutes during cooking to take notes about how long something took to cook or what the texture should be like. The only part I was nervous about this dish was the radish because it calls for daikon radish, which if I am being honest, I do not like at all. Like really, I don't at all. So instead I used the regular radishes I picked up from the market. I wasn't sure if they would turn the congee like a weird light pink color, so I peeled them first. I sweated down the radishes alongside a finely chopped onion and 5 garlic cloves, and while that was happening on the stove, I rinsed 1 cup of long grain white rice. I toasted the rice in the aromatics for a few minutes and then poured in 2 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of miso paste. I love to see a recipe with that much miso. If you've never made congee before, by the way, it's kind of like cooking risotto. You add liquid to the rice, stir until the liquid is mostly absorbed, then rinse and repeat until the rice is transformed from these crunchy grains into something smooth and velvety. This recipe calls for a total of 9 cups of water, which sounds like a lot, but it ends up working perfectly. Will's recipe calls for shimeji mushrooms, also known as beach mushrooms, which are very, very cute and have a nutty, buttery flavor. Once the congee was looking good, I covered the pot to keep it warm and got to work on the toppings, starting with some sliced scallions and ginger matchsticks. And then my favorite ingredient, tofu. I mashed about 8 ounces of extra firm tofu with a fork, toasted some peanuts as well as sesame seeds for a couple minutes until they were both nicely golden brown, and then I used the same pan to pan fry the tofu. You might be wondering if it's possible to cook tofu in a stainless steel pan without it sticking, and luckily the answer is yes, but only if you preheat the pan properly. So you're gonna heat it for a couple minutes over medium or medium high, then add a drop of water. If it beads up and rolls across the surface, the pan is ready for the oil, and you can now adjust the heat as needed. After a few minutes, I added in a tablespoon each of Chinese light soy sauce and dark soy sauce. The latter adds this really great color and kind of makes this look like meat. A big ladle or 3 of congee, some fresh ginger and scallions, that savory tofu crumble, the toasted peanuts and sesame seeds, and one of my favorite ever toppings, the homemade Chinese chili crisp from my cookbook. This congee is so perfectly creamy and comforting, and this tofu topping, let me tell you, so delicious, savory, really easy to make, so definitely gonna add that to the rotation. Thank you to Will for allowing me to share this recipe. I have a delicious lunch to eat now, but I'll see you when it's time for dinner. Okay, that was a lie. I will see you before then. I mean, I am seeing you now. Or you're seeing me? Either way, my sweet tooth came out of hiding, as it is wont to do around 3 p.m. Luckily for me, I had one last chocolate chip cookie dough ball in the freezer, so I baked that off. This is definitely the best cookie recipe I've ever made, so check out my video on how to make them. I'll link it here. This was the perfect treat to pair with my weekly review, which is when I spend a few hours every Sunday reviewing the week and planning for the next. That evening, I realized I had not had much in the way of cruciferous vegetables and decided to remedy that by making my latest favorite salad, a Napa cabbage salad. There's nothing like a crunchy salad to make you feel both healthy and morally superior. I sliced a small Napa cabbage in half, then thinly sliced it crosswise and gave it a rinse in the good old salad spinner. I thinly sliced 4 scallions and soaked them in some ice water just to tame their pungency a little bit since the whole scallion is going into the salad raw. I grabbed some of these cute Persian cukes from the market and sliced those thinly on a bias. And for more nutrients and color, I sliced a red bell pepper and grated 2 carrots. Oh, one last thing to chop, some roasted salted peanuts for that delicious nutty crunch. I want this to be a full meal salad, so I go pretty heavy, a whole cup. Now, the thing that makes the salad very special and allows you to eat 5 different vegetables without even thinking about it is the sesame garlic dressing. To make it, add 2 tablespoons of white sesame seeds and a half teaspoon of Szechuan chili flakes to a small bowl, then grate in a ½ inch of ginger and 3 cloves of garlic. This is a sizzled oil dressing, so heat up 3 tablespoons of any neutral oil in a small saucepan for about 3 minutes or so. If you have a thermometer, you're looking for about 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius, maybe a little less. Pour that right into the garlic ginger mixture. The hot oil will slightly cook the ingredients, and the ingredients in turn will infuse the oil with their delicious flavors. To finish the dressing, add in a tablespoon each of soy sauce, rice vinegar, and agave, followed by a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Seriously, you could pour this over a tree bark and it would probably taste good. To finish off the salad, I added a bit of salt and gave everything a mix, then some shelled edamame to bulk it up, followed by the sesame garlic dressing, and finally the peanuts. I am biased, of course, but this is one of the most beautiful salads and really fits the Eat the Rainbow ethos quite well. To get all of today's recipes and a free PDF guide, just click the link in the description box below or scan this QR code. Thank you to Made In for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!